gentlemen, here we go. I'm gonna go live. Start streaming, okay. And start streaming. Hold on, everybody on YouTube. I'm going live on 2 platforms. And go live here. All right, I should be live, everybody. Sorry if I was off camera for a minute. What's going on, everybody? Hello. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Adorama TV. Looks like I graduated because I get to go on Adorama TV instead of just Facebook. So I'm stealing Daniel Norton's platform because I'm better at it. Right, Cliff?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going with that.
All right, so if you were around Tuesday, I did a speedlight demo and I used all Profoto A1s. However, Profoto has just come out with the A1X, which is the next evolution of the A1, which is this guy right here. So I'm playing to you guys a little bit. This is a pretty impromptu demo, so I'm gonna shoot how I would shoot with speedlights. And that's pretty much what these are, except they're a refined speedlight to me, at least. And this is, let me make this very, very clear to this audience. This is not a commercial. I am just using gear that I personally use, personally purchased, and really believe in. That's it. You guys can come sit down and stop being creepy and weird. No, I'm just kidding. Come and sit down. Come on, hang out. I got a model coming, we'll shoot, it'll be great. So why did I choose to go with the A1s? Well, first you have to realize that I spent most of my career shooting speedlights. And speedlights, for the most part, are this raw, concentrated, powerful light. And just so you know, everyone in the chat, I have the chat up here, and I'm trying to watch it. So I might be a little slow on the questions, okay? I'm here by myself. I'm switching by myself. I'm shooting. I'm watching the chat. Just breathe for a second. I started out with speedlights, and I've been through all of them, right? I started out with Vivitar 283s, 285s, every SB flash from Nikon. I even used some Canon flashes on the fly, using optical triggers, all sorts of stuff. And I shot BMX and skateboarding in my genesis of my career. And I went into the studio and used speedlights on the fly because it's the easiest thing for me to carry. And I'm a big believer of multiple points of source, not just one source. And the best thing about speedlights is I can carry 5 of these in a case, get on a plane, and I have basically a traveling studio with me. And anyone that has watched my live view playlist here on Adorama TV, you've seen me use these at Makeup Forever in Paris, on stage in Germany, in the streets in Amsterdam, with multiple points of light, meaning key, fill, hair, background, effect lights, making things pop and blur, making different colors come around because of gels, all sorts of stuff like that. I really fell in love with the A1 after they let me borrow it. As soon as it came out, they let me have one for a week, and I shot a cover page with it. Actually, yeah, so this was A1 lighting. And I did it with speed lights on the fly because that's what I had on my kit, and they didn't let me down. And the thing about my gear is I have too much to worry about in the job. My client, the directing, the actual space, people's safety, the actual workflow, delivering the product. I don't need to worry about the gear. And coming up, I've watched things die in my hands. I've watched things come out of my bag, not work, die on the light stand. And nothing I've ever had of Profoto did that, and that's why I stuck with Profoto. And I've been shooting for over 2 decades. When they came out with a speedlight, I had a ride in the back of my skull, and I had to get my hands on it. And after I tried it, I personally bought 5 of them. Now I did the A1X video, and they gave me a single A1X to do single lighting in a location that had mixed light sources, tungsten, sodium vapor, LED, fluorescent, you name it, it was mixed. Come on in here, Casey. I'm gonna shoot Casey. We did this on the A1X video. What's up, girl? We're gonna go at it again. Where's Danny boy? Danny is sitting on his porch, probably sipping a coffee very, very slowly, as he likes to do. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna shoot with Casey like we do like a zillion times. And I think I've even shot you with these lights 8 billion and 1 times. But what's the main differences between the A1 and the A1X that we're gonna get into today? Well, number one, the bounce head is a little stiffer, so it can handle a little more of a modifier on the head and not slip. When you put it somewhere, there'll be no slipping happening. The recycle time, I feel, is faster, so I don't have to wait for my shots. I can actually physically feel it get faster, and you'll probably see it when we get started. You have 20 channels. You have the groups, and you also have the interface that changes, I think, but there's a firmware update for the A1 that gives you the B10-ish looking menu system on the back of your A1X. So if you have A1s, you can mix them in with your A1Xs if you choose to get new flashes. And that's what I'm gonna do today, because I'm an A1 user, and they just came out with this A1X with a battery that also lasts for 450 flashes. The A1 is at 350 flashes, so you get more shooting time out of your speed light. All right, let's do this, yeah? Okay, so let's start off with a single light, because we all love single lights. Live view in Paris. Hey, Fernando, what's going on, man? Shouldn't Daniel be working the chat? Daniel should be working the chat. Where's Daniel? Where's Daniel? So one of my favorite things about speed lights is the small and they're lightweight, and that allows me to use articulating arms. And this is one of my favorite articulating arms. This is a Matthews Noga. It's a little pricey. It's about like $160 or so, but it's hydrostatic, so there's no clicking. It'll just stay anywhere I want, and it'll freeze my light there, and I'm a big, big fan of that. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna get right into this. You guys have seen us do the lights on camera and stuff like that, but to me, this is like taking a studio anywhere I was, and that's really, I think actually that's your new slogan, is like make the world your studio or something like that. But I really did. I was in the streets of Amsterdam shooting with these lights. So I'm gonna go right into making my light source more refined. The way I'm gonna do that is, I'm gonna mount it to, let's take an A1X, we'll take this one. Also, I just want to point out that one of the cool things about having a lighting brand's system is that if you have a TTL remote or some sort of trigger to the camera for your camera, it doesn't matter what brand the other lights are TTL'd for. Like this is a Canon TTL shoe, it'll still shoot TTL for me because I'm shooting from the camera with a TTL shoe, which is really cool. It's not like you have like the Nikon flash for the Nikon camera, the Canon flash for the Canon camera. Like you can use whatever. In fact, I'm borrowing a Fuji remote for my trip tomorrow, and I'm gonna use that with my Nikon A1s. It's just awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go into an A1X. I'm gonna put this on the floor because that's where I do. And I'm gonna put this in an umbrella adapter, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm gonna put a shoot-through umbrella right on this thing. I'm gonna mount it, and I'm gonna lock it down. I'm gonna bend this head. This head's nice. It's nice and, ooh, it feels nice and stiff. So what I carry with me, I don't know if you guys have seen me preach about these too much, but I love telescoping umbrellas because they're this big. I can physically put them in my back pocket, and while I'm at trade shows or whatever working, I can just pull it out, and I have a modifier in the back of my pocket, and I'm ready to go. So this little small guy is a Elastilite trifold umbrella, and I instantly have a 3-foot light. So this small head now becomes a 3-foot light, which is basically like a 3-foot octa that spills everywhere, all for this amount of space in my bag, and with this much light in my bag. This is how much space is taking up my bag, which is awesome, which is, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. And I used this in the A1X video, and I'm gonna use it now. I'm sorry, kiddo. And I'm just gonna snap it in there like this. So, Casey, yep. I'm gonna get this light exactly where I want it because I'm using an articulating arm, and I love doing that. And boom, right there. Tighten it down, and you can use like any stand really. You don't have to use a C-stand. So a really quick travel kit for me is a small reverse stand, this arm, an umbrella adapter, and that umbrella, and I have a 3-foot light source that's nice and soft and ready to go. One of the great things I love about Profoto, which other systems have adapted after they did it, was I can go into TTL. It's basically like using a light meter. It's gonna do the TTL, do the pre-flash, meter the light in through my camera, and then adjust the power settings based on my aperture. Whoa, yeah, I know, breathe. It's okay. Here's what we're gonna do. So I'm in channel 3. This is group A. I'm pretty sure I put this on group A, yep. Come to me a little bit. Let's not trip on it. The one sandbag that we have here at Adorama, right here. The filthiest sandbag on earth. So let's turn towards this light a little bit with your shoulders. I'm gonna just go right into TTL. So I'm shooting f8, 250 a second, ISO 100. Roll your eyes to me a little bit. Clear the hair from your face. Yeah, I'm like not even seeing your face, kid.
Should I just part it on the other side?
Whatever feels comfortable for you. Let's take a look. Am I not tethered in? Oh. So right away, oh, hold on guys, I'm sorry, I'm running the switcher by myself. So right away, we have a way softer light source, but we have a hard shadow on the other side. Now, that's because wherever there isn't light, there's shadow, okay? No one light setup is without refining it. So what I usually do is, because the A1 is an on-camera light, all I have to do is put on their dome, turn this head on, and this is an A1 with an A1X, so they're working together totally fine. Head on, exit, and I can just dust this in. So I'm gonna set this down like almost 3.5, 4 stops less than that light. I'm gonna hit manual on this light because I like the light that we got. I like the exposure. So now it's locking in that power, and now I'm just gonna make this one about 4 stops under. And if you can see, it's going to be on axis. So we're not going to disturb the shape of her bone structure in the shot, but we're going to fill in those shadows and refine them. Turn it a little bit to me, though. There you go. Let's take a look. And you can see that it fills in on camera, that I'm not having to fight. And I can dust it in, right? I can give in a little more, like an extra stop. And now we're really filling in and we're really refining that light. It's getting to a point where it doesn't look like an on-camera speed light, and that's the point. We can keep on going. I can keep dusting it in a little more, maybe 2/3 more of a stop, right? And keep breaking up that shadow little and little and little. And look at that, really clean, even light, but we kept the shape of her bone structure. We have that jawline. We have the distance from her corner of her jaw to the top of her cheekbone. And that's huge for not making a flat look. Let's get you to look, let's put you right where I had you. Well, okay, first of all, you gotta relax. Come on, what is this? Come on. Is this Casey's amateur hour? Come on. You're gonna fall apart on me? Come on, stay with me, stay with me. Clear that hair a little bit away. Like you're hiding your face, kid. Nah, Casey's good, I love Casey. Let's take a look. And now, look at that. It's just a clean portrait with a trigger that was already on camera and an off-camera light that made a 3-foot light source really easily. And I can keep on, and you can keep doing things like this, right? I could take power away from this light and go back to sculpting in darker shadows if I wanted, right? I'll take away a little over a stop of power, and we'll put that shadow right back where we had it, right? I can do this over and over again. This is able to work fast without flying lights all over and get different feels and looks, which is invaluable in the field, okay? Let me switch this back. The one thing about these A1Xs and the A1 in general that nobody's talking about is that the temperature and the color of the light that comes out of the A1 matches the color and temperature of the light coming out of Profoto Studio strobes. In other systems, in my experience, which has been through tons of systems, the speed lights tend to shoot cooler, which means that I have a neutral key light and then all my shadows go blue. So if I were to do this technique with a system that was their studio strobe and their speed light, I was getting blue shadows, and then people tell you, fix it in post. How about I don't have time and I got another job tomorrow? I don't have that option. And with other speed lights, they fire overexposed, they fire underexposed, they're not consistent. All of a sudden they overheat and they shoot warmer, things like that. I don't have the leeway or privilege or whatever you want to call it to tell an art director, hey, I'm sorry that shot's a little off, but hey, I saved a bunch of money on the flash. So for me, it's about dependability. I need to worry about Casey in the shot. I don't need to worry about, is that light going to fire, okay? That's really quick with just the 3-foot umbrella, but what I really like using on speed lights when I can is softboxes. So let's get into that. Let's just get right into it. And then maybe what we'll do is we won't shoot it against the gray background. You okay? You gonna die on me?
Allergies.
Do you want water?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. I stashed water here. I said Casey's gonna be dying on me. I better have water.
Thank you.
All right. So one of the things, and people are gonna start telling me they can put CTO gels on their speed lights. That's cute because once you start changing the power exposure on your speed light, if you go If you blow through that CTO gel because you change the power of your speed light, all of a sudden that CTO doesn't saturate and you don't have that orange balancing anymore, or vice versa if you go under. So I'm not going to worry about power exposure in the ratio of my gel. I'm just going to worry about having clean light. You know, that's just me. Again, not all lights are for everybody, but I'm just showing you the lights that I personally use because I personally believe in them, because they've come through for me for the last year or so. And that's why I own 5 of these things. Although the A1X though, I will say, I really like the head on it. I like the head and I like the recycling time on it a lot. It's easily, you can feel the recycling times faster. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. So I'm gonna take this umbrella adapter off and I'm just gonna mount this to a softbox. And I'm gonna use one of my favorite softboxes of all time, which is actually a Profoto softbox. It's the 1x1.3. So what this does is it's super efficient. Okay, this isn't about the softbox, but I love this softbox, so I'm hoping Profoto never stops making the softbox. I'd buy like 1,000 of them. Number one, it's very flagged, it's very recessed, so the light doesn't spread anywhere. I know exactly where I'm lighting. This is my key light, and this, especially for someone like Casey who has very definitive bone structure, it's great. Also, it's got 2 diffusers in it. So there's really no hot spot to this box. It lights evenly throughout the whole thing. And because it's a box and not an umbrella, and it's silver lined, it really keeps the light efficient. So you're not burning power for no reason. You're just getting the stops of light you need. And that's what I'm gonna mount this thing to. So I'm just gonna put this in this box really quick. And then I'm gonna mount it to my articulating arm because it's also light that I can do that. And I really, speed lights are one of those things that I feel like people never give a fair shot to because they take it out of the box, they put it on their camera, and it's like it blows a wall of light at their subject. But in reality, it's just a lot of raw light in a small package that lets you do whatever you need to do in the field. And that's why I've been so addicted to them for so long. That, and I worked with Joe McNally for a little bit, so you know, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna take a dome, and I'm gonna put a dome on, I'm gonna put a dome on the inside because it'll make the light spread around more even. And I really like the dome on the A1. It's magnetic, so every modifier they make for the A1 just snaps on magnetically. We'll even go into the soft bounce in a minute. I'll show you guys that with a quick 2-light setup. So I'm gonna mount this on this 5/8 post, 5/8 post, 5/8 post.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, red, oh, don't even start. It's the end of the day here. I'm dying on my feet. I just did rewind this morning. So people on YouTube are like, probably saying, hey, did you change your shirt from rewind? Yes, I did. Actually, it was full of sweat because it's like, what, 90 degrees today? Yeah, it's terrible. 85 degrees. So this arm is great because it folds up, it goes in my bag, but it gives me the reach and it gives me like, you are gonna fall apart on me, aren't you?
Sorry.
No, you're not. I know you're tight. It's okay.
I took my antihistamine.
You took your antihistamine. So I'm gonna put this back into TTL and take another exposure. I'm gonna shut this light off so we're just seeing this light, right? I'm gonna go into this head, I'm gonna shut it off. And that's the other thing I like about Profoto is it's always been in every rental house I've ever dealt with in my entire career. When I walk in there, I know the system because it was intuitive to use. There was no like, what is this? How is that? What's this terminology? You just got into it. Any assistant I had took to it really fast. And that says a lot about the build quality of the lights because rental houses don't use brands or models that they rent 3 times and it's broken and that they have to get it repaired or throw it out. They didn't make their money on it. Every place I've ever went has rented Profoto, and that's why I learned that system and that's why I grew into that system. If it's not your system, that's fine. It's totally fine. And also Daniel got me like all hooked on it because it's Dan. All right, so I'm gonna do just a quick overhead. Actually, I'm gonna change the angle of this because I can already tell that I'm not where I want it to be. I'm not ignoring the chat. I see it flying. There's only so much I can get through here. Put into TTL. Let's take a look at Casey. She's throwing the arm up. And let's take a look. And we have an exposure. It's dark. Why? Because when I put the box on, I said it's a very flagged box. It's very recessed. It doesn't spread the light around. But look at how really even and clean this light is. I mean, look at that skin. Look at the detail that you get out of that. I'm gonna take another shot. I'm gonna put this into manual. There we go. And I can hear it beeping that it's with me, that I don't have to worry about the recycle, that it's just going, it's going, it's going. I mean, oh, you know what? I have it set to like zillion% when I do that. But I mean, it's really, really clean, even light. I'm seeing every piece of skin texture that I can get out of Casey, which is great. Now, I have a couple of options. I can do the on-camera light that I just did. So why don't we do that? We're already in that, right? So I'm going to go into this head. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go into, let's say, 3 stops away from this light. Because it's 3 stops under, and if I stay at the same distance away from her as my key, then that means it's always going to be just illuminating the shadows and not so much the key light blowing it out, because it's not going to overpower the exposure of the key light. So let's do that. Okay? The humidity is just killing all of us today. They're like, hey, do a speed light demo on the humidest day ever. Chin down a little bit. Yep, look at me. There we go. Let's take a look. And boom, you can see it starts filling in. We start getting a little more of Casey. I can add a little bit more light if I wanted to. Are you looking at that projection and trying to like adjust for the projection?
Yes.
Look at me. I should have turned that thing off. Relax, 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 relax. There we go. What do you mean what? Chin down a little bit. Look at me. There we go. Let's take a look.
Don't make me laugh.
I'll make you laugh every day. You deserve to laugh. And we start filling in those shadows and cleaning it up. But I could also use a modifier that is just made to go on this A1. One of the modifiers I really like that I keep with me all the time because it takes no space up in my bag is this soft bounce, okay? The soft bounce is really cool because it can act like a few different things. One, I use like a strip light a lot because it's very flagged off by itself, so I can just like bang a hair light. You actually see it in the Amsterdam video and the Paris video where I use it as like rim lights. What I'm gonna do today though is I'm gonna put it another light, which is another A1X, and I'm gonna put it, let me see, I got another A1X here. I'm gonna put this into group B so I can use multiple lights. So instead of using an on-camera fill, I'm gonna use it underneath for like a clamshellish type effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into group, I'm gonna change this to B, and that way I have A, I got B. What's up, D? How you doing? You like how I know everybody that walks in every time? Like, that's how I know I live in this event space. And we're talking about magnets holding it together, no problem, right? One of the things that I like to pair it with is the dome, because I feel a dome gives this even spread. So you can keep on stacking the magnetic modifiers, which is really convenient. I don't have to worry about straps or anything like that. And this new head is really, really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to close this down. I should have just set this up, but I'm gonna close this down. And I'm going to push this basically like an L and just rotate it up. I don't have to worry about the light being in a different place or how to manage it. I can just rotate this, which is another plus of that. I can put it right here, do like this. And with speed lights, you can, if you're really trying to guess where your light's going, you can flash a little bit. I'm going to give it like that. So I'm at about 7 on my key light. I'm gonna go to 5 on my fill because I want it underneath the exposure of my key light. Now, the numbers on Profoto mean stops of light, which is super valuable because you go from 10, which is full power, 9, which is half power, 8, which is quarter power, and so far and so forth. And every increment in between is 1/10 of a stop, and it actually is. And I'm telling you that because I've shot with it 800,000 times in a million different situations, and it really does adjust by that much. And if you really want to see it in action, watch my vampire video on live view where I show you how just 1/10 of a stop changed the wrinkles and textures of a vampire's skin. That sounds crazy to people who don't know what I shoot. Just look it up. Jeez. It sounds normal to me. It sounds, did I ever put you in FX? I did. We shot the Nikon Z video.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot. I'm a horrible human being. I'm sorry.
It's just you've done so many FX shoots.
I have done a lot of FX shoots. I have 100 looks to do next month. That's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. So I'm going to shut this light off, and I'm just going to use my key and my fill. Let's see what happens. Let's shut this light off. And again, this is an A1, the original, and these are A1Xs, so it works totally in tandem, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, let's do this. Hey, you. Let's take a look. And you can see that it's like just a cleaned up portrait. I mean, we're looking at a key light that's shaping all that bone structure. She has a very prominent jawline, and that shadow is just being broken. If I shut off the B light, right? If I just go into B and I shut it off, and now this light is off, I can see it's not firing. This is just the key light. Let's take a look. You can see how dense and deep that shadow gets underneath. I turn B back on, and let's say I want to take that shadow out a little more. I'll give it another 2/3 of a stop. Never mind, I'm sorry. I'm like talking, I'm doing math, I'm all over the place. And boom, that next shadow opens up. It's really clean. Now you're gonna say, but that background's really dark. What are you doing? Okay, cool. Let's answer that question right now. I'm in a studio situation, right? Let's say I'm not. Can I have you right here? And I'm gonna shoot into Adorama itself, and I'm gonna have the lights that are back there bleed in. They're not gonna bleed in at the settings I have because I'm at f8 at 2/50 of a second. I guarantee you, it'll still be dark back there. What I'm going to do is take a reading through my camera and adjust my shutter till I start seeing my light meter show me what's going on in that background. If you're mirrorless, you can actually see this physically, but you know, I shoot with my D at 50 because I love it and I'm sticking to it. So if I keep these lights the same distance as I had them in this setup, the exposure doesn't change. F8 is F8 for this lighting setup, right? So now I'm going to look through my viewfinder here and I'm going to drag down this shutter to, let's do a 30th. We'll do a 30th of a second. And you're going to say, but Seth, this so long and she's going to be blurry. What's really happening here is that she's basically a silhouette. Actually, what I'm going to do is give myself a little more room, and I'm going to have you step to me a little more. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to dodge a camera that's sitting in the middle of the ceiling. I don't want to like jutting into her head. So I'm trying to get a different perspective line. Okay. So what's going to happen is there's no exposure on her face until I shoot this shot. In fact, I'll just shut off the speed light completely, and we'll just shoot right into her with no lights, right? With no lights on. You're about to laugh. You're about to laugh.
You really have to call.
And you can see that the background subtly is coming up, right? But it's not enough, right? So maybe I'll just go to a 15th of a second. Why not? I'm feeling lucky. Let's do another exposure after a 15th. And you can see, oh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I didn't even, oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. But you can see that subtly coming up, right? Cool, so let's do it with the speed lights on. Let's do it with, and I'll do it, let's turn one way or the other, whichever way you feel like it, yeah. Not so much, give me that shoulder, yep. And then chin down a little bit, atta girl, yeah. There you go. Let's take a look. And they start getting a background in there, and we're not worried about it, but it's really clean light on her while we're working with what's in the background. I can step back a little bit more, and let's say that shutter's a little too slow for me, right? Well, that's okay, because I can just open up my aperture and speed up my shutter a little bit if it's too slow for me, if I feel like it's just an eternity, because 15th of a second sounds like an eternity to us. So let's go to a 60th, and I'm going to turn off my key. I'm going to turn off my fill. I'm just going to do my key light. I'm going to do my key light in TTL. Why? Because I just adjusted my aperture, and I don't have to do anything. It goes into TTL, and it's going to adjust the power for the f-stop I'm adjusting to. So I'm going to open up to 5, 6, because why not? Let's take a look. It didn't fire? Oh, whoops, I'm sorry. I turned off the wrong light. Sorry, guys. Let's do that again. That was user error, because I'm a jerk. And there she is with TTL. See, I changed my exposure. The power stayed with me. Now I'm going to turn my B light back on. And I'm going to just go for it. Why not? Let's take a look. My B light goes back on, and she's filled in really nice and clean. And I'm gonna give her some more space. I'm not gonna shoot so tight. And you hear how fast I'm recycling? I'm not worrying about it. I'm shooting with speed lights, but I'm able to keep going pretty fast. I'm not caring about that recycle. I can hear that beep going on. I think the background could come in a little bit more, so I'm gonna slow my shutter a little bit. You're so giggly tonight. What's going on with you? You're so giggly tonight.
I'm so giggly.
And you can see that background starting to come into play more and more and more. People are asking for the Brooklyn reflector, so I tell you what, let's do the Brooklyn reflector. I'll take this B light out of the equation, and if you guys don't want to do a super portable setup where you're walking around with just stuff that can fit in a backpack, you can always take out a Brooklyn reflector and carry it. I got it. The best thing about the Brooklyn reflector is it's versatile. It's this way, or it's this way. Hey, you. Why are you looking at that light? Come here. There she. Ah, you were so giggly today.
I'm sorry.
And there's the Brooklyn reflector bouncing in. If you want to carry around a giant piece of foam core and make Casey look weird, I'll tell you what. I'm going to zoom out and we'll get a little tight. We'll get a little. You're not going to promise anything. I know your type. You see how fast I'm shooting and not caring about it? My tether isn't even catching up to this, right? So that's a peace of mind while I'm shooting. I'm not worrying if the light's going to be there. I know the light's going to be there. And that's one of the reasons I went with this system. It's not struggling to recycle, and I'm at 7 out of 10 on this light right now. So we're talking about a 16th of the power right now, or an 1/8 rather. I'm going to shoot a little wider so that we can get a little bit more of the space going. Whoops. It's that recycle time that's super valuable. Let's open up the shutter even more. Because I'm in TTL with the key light, I'm gonna open up to F4. Why not? Let's just go all the way. And we'll see a bunch of that light flying in. You're so giggly, so giggly. And you can see, wow, kid, you are so giggly. So giggly, so giggly.
That one's not terrible.
That's not terrible. That's what you want to hear from your model. That's not terrible. I'm just gonna shoot fast. And you can hear bang, 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 bang. Just not worrying about it. I'm just shooting. And that speed light's keeping up with me every stop. It's not a problem. That's invaluable to me. When I'm working in the field, I can't worry about the gear. I can't stress that enough. I can't worry if the gear is not going to be there for me, if it's going to break, if it's not going to talk to the rest of my system, if it's going to give me shifting colors, if it's going to overheat, if the battery power doesn't stay consistent, if the batteries look like they're full but then fail out of nowhere. I cannot have that happen. All right? Vanessa Joyce asked me to drag the shutter.
Every time.
All right, so I'll tell you what, I'll drag the shutter for you, Casey. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a rear sync, because why not? And I'll drag it to oblivion. We'll do like a whole half a second, which is way too much. But I'm also going to close my aperture down a little bit, because I know it's going to get a little bit crazy. No, I'm just going to do the zoom. I'm going to do the zoom. We'll do the zoom. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to get a TTL reading off my light. And we're going to do it at F4. Let me just take a look. And that's super shaky, right? But if I did this, and I put it in rear sync, let's take a look. Oh, whoa. Whoa, we're in TTL, so what's happening? I'm getting a pre-flash, which isn't cool. So I'm going to put it into manual. Now there's no pre-flash. Let's take a look. This is because Vanessa Joyce asked me to do shutter drags. And we're getting the double exposure that everybody likes so much. Let's do it a little faster. Take a look. I'm shooting into the floor now. Now you're just doing some dumb stuff. If we want to do this for real, we could just cut out this and then I'm really just shooting. We'll do a slow shutter drag of like a half. I don't know why this turned into a shutter drag demo, because that's Vanessa Joy. Whoop.
Whoa.
It's okay, it's an A1, it'll hold up. And now we get like some really draggy stuff. It's okay. Look at me. Take a look. And boom. Clean for what it is. And it's just, now it's not a dead, gross store. We got that shutter drag. So what I'm doing is I'm zooming out while I hit the, while the shutter's open, and then the flash hits at the end. So if you're, you know, oh man, I made a mess back here. So I dropped an A1 on the floor.
It's also very dark still.
I totally dropped an A1 on the floor. It is very dark. I dropped an A1. So for anyone wondering about build quality, that was Cliff's. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So pretty much what we can do here is fast looks, multiple different styles, and it's versatile because I can control my fill light from my camera. I can put my key light wherever I want. I could duct tape it to a wall if I had. It doesn't matter because it's so light, and that's why I like speed light so much. But that's not what makes the A1X special. What makes it special is its dependability. The color consistency is insane. It matches their studio strobes, and that's why I went with it. I never had their radio signals fail on me as other radios. How many times did third-party radio triggers and they just didn't work? You're kind of nodding your head. It's just what happens because you're paying for like better licensing of frequencies and stuff like that. You're paying for dependability. You're paying for the fact that there's no question in your mind that when you step onto set that your gear isn't going to be there for you. And that's what is important to me. I have to work every day. I have to shoot every day. You guys want, look at this. This is my desktop, just so you guys are aware of how much, every one of those folders is a shoot. Every one of them. Every day. You guys see me on Adorama TV pushing out videos, doing demos. I'm live on Instagram Tuesday, live in the space on Mondays. I'm live right now out of nowhere. I'm going to Tokyo tomorrow to shoot again. Like, there's no, I cannot question my gear. It just has to be there, and that's why you invest in it. Not every light is for everybody. Not every piece of gear is for everybody. I was very impressed with how even this light shot, how it broke into shadow so it wasn't a hard hit and evenly got through it with the with fill light in general. It performed for me in hard sunlight. It performed for me in makeup forever, going through insane amount of looks for a long period of time. I didn't have to worry about battery conditioning. All these things are a factor to me. The zoom head getting stuck never happened, and there's fake blood jammed in all my lights. The A1X, I think, is a nice, I say improvement over the A1 with the stiffer bounce head, the faster recycling. I feel it. I'm not worrying about it. I'm just shooting with it. And for demo purposes, like I just kind of threw this together and just went for it. Had this been an actual shoot, we keep things more consistent and controlled to just get through it. You know, keep my distances consistent. Understand my ratios different instead of going from setup to setup. You know what I mean? You guys with me on all this? Yeah, I know I'm talking to this camera pretty much, but you know, it is what it is. There's a ton of what metering mode would you put it in to make your TTL accurate? So when you use TTL, if I was shooting Casey and I was having an issue with TTL, your camera doesn't know what it's trying to shoot. It just knows this is light and it's exposing and here's numbers and math and ratios, you know? When I'm shooting Casey, it doesn't know I'm trying to shoot a person. If I was shooting in spot metering on her for TTL, it'd give me a more accurate exposure for her as opposed to her plus the store, right? So it's not getting everything at once. It's just focusing where I need to focus. So if you're having issues with TTL, try doing that. Another thing is TTL meters every time you shoot. So if you got the exposure you want with Profoto, I can lock in that exposure value and not have to be shook up over something. So if Casey was wearing like a dark outfit with a white shirt, I always use this analogy, right? She was wearing a dark sport coat and I did a TTL, it gives me an exposure for her skin, right? She takes off that coat and she's wearing white, it'll reflect back more light and TTL will be like, whoa, 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 that's too much light, let me dial down the flash. But her skin didn't change or anything, so it doesn't know what you're trying to shoot, it just knows the overall average you're trying to get to. So with Profoto, I shoot for the skin TTL, I lock in the manual, keep that consistent exposure, and then I don't have to worry about what she's doing with wardrobe. I know her skin is where I need it to be, okay? The other thing, sorry guys. The other thing I really like about this light is the modeling light on it is really, really nice and flicker free. There's no flickering on this light if you're doing video for it or something like that. Not that I would use this always for a video light, but in a pinch, I have used this for, I think we used it for ghosting. If you guys want to see me use this for ghosting, go on Adorama's Facebook and look at my Creative Exposures demo where you're flipping your hair. Yeah. I use this just as my ghosting light on camera, which was bananas. I mean, it was a really quick thing to do on the fly. I didn't expect to do ghosting here tonight, but Vanessa Joy is always A1 for me, you know? A1, get it? Ttl with Sony is just evaluative, no spot. Okay, I don't know Sony, sorry. I did use Sony in the video with you, but that's because now the A1X is available for Sony. The A1 wasn't available for Sony, so now the A1X is available for Sony, so they handed me one. I think they're doing a kit with this and the Connect, so if you just want to get a light up, shoot, there you go. It's single light, auto, TTL, lock it in with manual, and you're done, just like I just explained, and it's over. I think that's pretty much it. I can't stress enough the fact that this matches the studio strobes because no one else that I found has done this. When I showed you the on-camera fill, right? When I showed you, let me get back to, oh, we're all the way back here. Actually, you know what, guys? This was from the last demo I shot with 5 A1s in the background, filling in this event space with the crowd that I had at that demo. There's a lot of things you can do with this because I'm not worried about the quality of light that's coming at us. This is the on-camera fill, right? Like we were just cleaning her up with, not cleaning up, I'm sorry, kiddo. But you could see like the shadow goes from dense dark to filled in. And if this had been a key light that was like the B1 or B2 or the D2 or whatever it was, this would match temperature-wise. On other systems, I found speed lights because they're condensed, different coatings on the tubes, other things like that, or heating issues because overheating on a light will change its temperature, like color-wise. It didn't match, and for me, that's a deal breaker. So that was a big deal for me. Are you going to use these for your Inspire SFX demo? Yeah, actually, Vanessa, when I shoot special effects on stage for Adorama, I'm doing it with all A1s. So no studio strobes, and I'm not going to say what the makeup is yet. I'm pretty excited about it though. It's not an alien, for a change. They always make me do aliens because they think that's safe, but we're going to do something different. What's up?
Vampires.
Shut up. You guys have any questions? So I tried to make this kind of more of a speed light demo than just about the A1X, but when I use speed lights, there's such a difference in usability across the board out there, and it's got this idea that's like this brick of light that hits, and I just found that this lens, this Fresnel, really even, clean, breaks the shadow on a skin line really, really nicely when you're using it as a fill light in sunlight or other situations. The magnets are super easy and fast to get through. Oh yeah, let me show you this because this was another thing I'm super psyched on. So I'm going to shut off the lights so you guys can see this. Sorry, guys. I just got really close. Let me just show the. So this is the zoom light, right? Forget about a grid. Look at how tight that gets just by the zoom, right? So if you're trying to limit your spread but still be even, limit the spread but still be even, this is insane. All right? And keep in mind that like you have all this variable you can mess with till you get it where you want it to be. So the zoom head on this has been invaluable for me, especially because I shoot super narrow and tight lighting a lot. And you guys can see that with all this type of stuff that I've shot over the years. If you're new to who I am, very tight lighting. I mean, it's just all really localized lights. And that speed light you can see in this eyeball. Speed lights. This was the D850 video. More tight light. I'm really big on tight lighting. So this has kept me without having to need modifiers to just get really punchy light where I need it, which I probably wouldn't do on you so much. I do that for like superhero stuff. Not that you're not special, but you know. Let me turn on these lights. I'm getting close to the lens. People are gonna laugh. Oh. All right. You guys have any questions? Where can I buy your t-shirts? Nice. The rental house will most likely have Profoto. Yeah, the rental houses definitely have Profoto. Wow, you guys have been talking a lot. Okay. Man, I wish I didn't do that shutter drag. Lovely way to bring out the cheekbones. All right, way to go. This was just a super quick demo of throwing light around, but at least it was clean light and I could pull that shot and Casey could use that shot for something if she needed to. Is there anything else we want to do? I mean, how much time do I got? Oh, it's only 45, 46. I tell you what, since it's been such a short demo, I'm gonna do a quick 3-point lighting on Casey because I have enough lights to do it. She's standing right here and I'm in the middle of a demo. You guys wanna do it? You guys wanna do it? I'm not doing anything until you scream. Scream! Yeah. Oh my God, there you go. That's Cliff Hausner, everybody. Uncle Cliff. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna use, I'm gonna use the box. Let's just do the box. We'll do a really quick setup on the fly. So you can come right here again. So we'll build this up one light at a time, right? One light at a time. We like that, right? Let me just take some water before I die. Do a shutter drag. Would you guys stop asking me to do shutter drags? I do them every demo, in the middle of everything. Would you stop? Jeez. You know what a shutter drag is? You know when I do the streaky stuff, like all the ghosty motion? You know what? Let's just do a goddamn shutter drag. No. Let's just do it. All right, because everybody's asked me to do a shutter drag, we're doing a shutter drag, and I'm going to do it with the modeling light from the A1. All right? Oh, I was not planning this, but you know what? This is exactly what working in the field is. You start with a plan, you start doing something, a creative director checks their phone, sees something on Instagram, and then asks you to do it. So we're just gonna do it. So what do I need to do a shutter drag? Well, I need a constant light source and I need an instant light source. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna set up this A1 and I'm just gonna use it for the modeling light as an LED to spread light onto Casey's hair. You know this whole shtick. She's done this 8 million times. That's why I love her. It's fun, it's fun, until you break your neck, right? I'm not gonna turn on the modeling light just yet. The first thing I'm gonna do is localize my lighting. I can't believe this is turning into a shutter drag demo. I cannot believe this is turning into a shutter drag demo. Okay. The first thing I do is localize my light. I need my speed light, my flash to be on one side of my exposure. I need the rest of it to have no exposure. Why? Because if once I have an instant exposure freezing her and I have a constant exposure that's making the blur, when they overlap, it's all blur. You want to have clarity in this. This is like the typical way to do it as opposed to like really refining it. I mean, it's just like a typical setup demo. So what I'm going to do is, I'm lucking out because I have this small box, and the small box actually makes for a very localized, tight light source. We just saw that, right? So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to not kick my camera around like that. You've seen me kick that camera plenty of times. It's an icon, I can take it. All right, geez. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing a drag demo. Every single time people ask me to do a drag demo. Ever since that Paris video, it's been.
They're just busting your balls.
It's all right. It's all right. Let's let them have what they want. It's okay. All right. So Casey's gonna come to me here. Now, when I shoot this, I need to give the frame room for her to move. So she's gonna be very over to one side. Actually, Dan, you just did this demo Thursday. So we're gonna face this light, and I'm gonna have you kind of close to it. And the reason I'm gonna have her close to it is because the closer she is to a light, the faster it falls off, right? We're exposing for her here, so now the exposure here won't be as dramatic, it won't be so impactful, okay? We're think of a light like this. If over here is let's say, I'm just making numbers up, F11, F8, 5, 6, and so forth, right? So I'll have it really quick fall off, which means I'll have really fast shadows. Make sense? So I'm gonna get a light reading. And to do that, I'm just gonna do TTL on that light. We're gonna get a very shadowy picture of Casey. Make sure I got nothing else firing. I have another light firing in the background because I am a mess over here. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, I love my peoples. Oh, this is group A, this is group A. I just set everything in group A by accident. Okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna give her a lot of room to the left side of the frame. Turn it a little bit to me, yeah. Oh wait, I'm shutter dragging already. Hold on. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna go into 2/50 of a second before I even start doing, yeah, it's just a test. Before I even start doing this, I'm gonna close down to about 7.1. And we're gonna do this. Okay, so now we have a very dark image, right? Which is what we want. We want just the speed light. We love you, Seth. Thank you so much, Patty. So what's happening here? We have the exposure. It's fast fall off, right? It's falling, it's dying really fast because we're creating exposure close to the light. Now in this section that's all dark, that's where I'm gonna put my constant light. And I'm gonna put my constant light from this A1, which is an LED modeling light. We just, modeling light on minimum, no, we want maximum. We want maximum damage. Okay, so I'm gonna shut off these overheads so we can really see where this light's going. And so Casey, what I want you to do is step over to here and look towards this light a little bit. Yeah, so clear your hair a little bit so I can see your face. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a reading off of her face and just see where my shutter lands based on the aperture I have. If I'm gonna have to drag the shutter because there's no way a constant light of this magnitude is gonna be as bright as the strobe, right? Come on, guys. Yeah. Come on, guys. You're with me. Turn your head to me a little bit. Yeah. So I'm gonna drag this shutter and it is giving me like half a second, which is great. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put the flash in rear sync. I'm speed throughing this. I usually don't do it this fast, but let's do it. So when I tell Casey to move, I'm gonna have her, let's just practice really quick. Have you come to this light? Come to this light. I'm gonna focus on her at this light. I'm gonna give her enough room to move. She's gonna move to the other side of the frame now. Move to the other side. And 3, 2, move. Let's take a look. Let's see, did I nail it? Please. Boom. Ghosting with just the modeling light inside the Profoto A1. Let's see if I got the focus on. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty in focus. If I can see an eyelash and a vein in your eyeball. Models love when you do that. Look at that, look at that. And that's at a half second, right? The flash duration on the A1X is dope. You can have that one, Cliff, you can quote that and then put it on the box. Dope. No, well, what's happening here, right? And then not explain it. Wait, what am I doing? Just ruin the song for me, now I always think about speed lights. Okay, so what happened here? Okay, I gotta rewind a bit. I totally just went fast tracked and I ghosted you on the first shot. We usually build this up, right? You guys have been to my other creative-y, weird demos. What's happening here? Shutter is open. We're making an exposure. We're making exposure from this LED light. She's moving. As she's moving, light's reflecting off of her, going into my camera. At the end of the exposure, at that end of that half second, she's here, flash fires. The flash only exists for milliseconds. Tiny, tiny, tiny window of that half second. Because it only exists for a half second, she's only exposed for that few bit of milliseconds, which means that she's frozen on the other end. Does everyone get what happened there? Yes. Yep. Okay.
Can you please just repeat? So you just basically, when she's here, you just press the button, then she moves.
Right. Right. So what's happening is she's here in my frame. Open the shutter. The shutter's open. She's moving. This is constantly reflecting, right? By the time she gets to this side, the shutter is about to close. Before the shutter closed, the flash is fired. You have to think about it this way. When you guys are in an all dark room, blacked out windows, no lights coming in, it's so dark that when you open your eyes, you think they're still closed. If you open up your camera, you're not making an exposure, right? It's all about, all your camera is a box that lets a certain amount of light in for a certain amount of time. Certain amount of time, shutter speed. Certain amount of light, aperture. Aperture affects both light sources, the constant and the flash. So I set my constant light, my instant light first. I want F8 or whatever I'm doing, 7.1. I got that exposure. Now I just have shutter speed to worry about. Because if I start setting this and change the aperture for this light, I'm all over the place, okay? So it's really a matter of you're doing 2 exposures at once, but you're only hitting the shutter once. Makes sense? Your two exposures are your ambient and your speed light or your instant light source. And the same thing happened back there when I was dragging the shutter to get that background to come in more and more and more. It's there. What's really cool is that this modeling light is powerful enough to get me an exposure on hers. Let's do this again, but instead of you moving right away, we're gonna freeze you there for a second, then move.
Okay.
And because it's so bright, and because she's not moving, her movement is a shutter speed. If she freezes for a little bit, all right, I'll tell you, turn it to me a little bit. Actually, let's focus, I'm gonna focus on her here, right? I'm gonna get a focus on her here. Okay, go over to that light, turn it to me, and go. She didn't go right away, right? She hesitated a little bit. And because she did that, we have more of a prominent ghost on her. The flash fired before she got to the other side, but you guys get what's happening, right? So let's do that again so that we don't, let's get your face into this light. Into this light, yeah. And then go over to that light. And then 3, 2, go. Let's take a look. What is happening here?
It's weird.
That is weird, right?
What's your shutter speed at?
Shutter speed is at a full second, unless my shutter is not. Hold on. Let me take a look. Of course, it's going to fail now. I nail on the first shot. It's always the second shot. Huh. Hold on. Oh, actually, you know what? I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Hang on a second. Okay, let's go over to that. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me focus on you. Let me just make sure it's flashing. My camera might be knocked out of sync, actually. Hold on, let's take a look. Of course, this is where I get into a trap. Let's go over to that light. 3, 2, move. Something's not hitting right. That's not the light, that's my camera. Which is really bad because I'm leaving for Tokyo tomorrow. Awesome. Look, lucky shots are hard to replicate. Who said that was lucky? Watch my last creative exposure demo. Hold on.
Turn it off and turn it on. Yeah. Classic guy teacher.
Hold on a second. Something's out of sync with my camera, man. Let me get out of rear sync and just see what's up.
The flash is showing perfect.
Yeah, there's the, all right. What the hell just happened? All right, this is a camera issue. Oh, this is a camera issue. All right, let's try this again. Let's get your face to the strobe. Try to redeem myself. Let's go to the other light. 3, 2, move. Nope. Oh, I took off rear sync. Now I'm talking too much. All right, come back to this light again. Sorry, kid. Oh, God. All right, go to the other light. 3, 2, and let's just see if this even fired off. There it is. Okay, so now let's do it where you hold there for a second.
Yep.
Let's get a focus point on you here. Okay, now go to that other light, and then I'll tell you when to move. Turn your head to me a little bit, and move. So you saw how she hung there for a second? And her own movement becomes a shutter speed because we're looking at, yeah, people, lucky shots, Nikon D850 Pro camera. It's also a camera that's been around the world, knocked it down, and has a ton of fake blood stuck in the button. So who knows what's happening right now. But you see the difference between her movement changes the shutter speed, quote unquote. You get what's happening there? But what's really cool is that I have this constant light in my bag at all times because it's in the speed light for me, which is what I really like. And if I wanted to limit the spread of that speed light, because I say it's too much, I can just zoom the head back and really make it tighter, and then it's a tighter light source. It's not spilling everywhere. So let's see if that changed anything. Why not? We actually got a 2-page spread in Rangefinder magazine doing a shot like this in demo on Adorama's Facebook. You guys can see that out of camera. I'll take a D850 anyone wants to get rid of. Yeah, thanks. All right, let's get you to focus on this light. And let's go back to that light.
Are we pausing?
No, no pausing. 3, 2, go. Beautiful. Nice. So I zoomed in the light so it doesn't spill in the background as badly. It's not night and day difference, but it's there. Oh, this is really clean though on your face. Wow. I could write a thesis on your veins in your eyeball. I think I'm gonna do that. It's called How to Mess Up on a Demo Live multiple times. All right, so that was like way going off topic, but I was able to do a clean shot, shadowy shots, change my shadows, do fast modifiers, all stuff that fits in a backpack, and then do a ghosting shot with just the modeling light that's in the A1 already, right? And you could do even weirder stuff. I mean, I could put this behind her and get, actually, you know what? I got 3 or 4 of you. Let's do that. I'm gonna finish out with the shot I did last Tuesday. Why not? Yes. Why not? We'll give you the red carpet treatment. Let me turn on these lights a little bit. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that's good enough. I'm gonna shut off this modeling light. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put I'm gonna put on group C. I'm gonna give you guys all lights in group C. You're gonna point them. You know what's happening right now. Why not? It's a favorite of everybody. I'm gonna juice them up to about 8.5. I'm going to let them spread like crazy. And let me put it into group C. Let me grab another one. Because this is part of the fun of having multiple lights is that I can do stuff like this, and I'm gonna do it. Why? Because it's my live stream, and I did it on Tuesday, and it was awesome. We're gonna do this in group C. I'm gonna go, I gotta check out my that's not cool. We're gonna juice this up to 8.5. Okay, you're gonna hold on. And
it says Seth on it's free.
Yeah.
If it doesn't say Seth, that's free.
And we'll set this one up for good measure. We'll do group C on this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot a clean shot towards the store. We're gonna do a key light on her with the small box, and then we'll have your lights in the background. We're gonna change this dank space into more of a red carpet type look. Did I ever do this for you? No, huh? Jeez. Same dolphin tricks all the time. Well, I need someone kind of back there. Do you mind getting a little over? Let's do this. All right, so let's have you right here. Yeah, right there is great. I'm gonna pull my key light back over here. I'm gonna change the direction of it, which I can super fast because I have an articulating arm, which is awesome. We love the articulating arm, Seth. I know, thank you, it's great. I know. All right, so I need those lenses. All those lenses gotta look at me. Point at me. Perry, get up here. Cool. So the first shot we're gonna do, I'm not gonna have those lights on. I'm just gonna do, or they're gonna fire. Let's just go for it, why not? I'm gonna speed up my shutter. I'm gonna give myself some breathing room on this light, because why not?
Rear curtain's off, right?
Yeah, I gotta turn the rear curtain off. I'm going through so many settings at once with a camera that just got stuck in the middle of an exposure, which is always fun. Oh boy. It's all personal gear. Nobody gave me this gear, so it turns into this. So you're gonna see a bunch of bad shots probably because I'm doing this like right away. And let's take a look at you. Let's take a look. Oh, okay, that's not bad. In fact, if I wanted to, we can give a little bit of a bounce. Actually, I'm not even gonna do a bounce. You know why I'm not gonna do a bounce? Because their lights in the back will hit this bounce and affect my shot. So what I'm gonna do instead is, I have an on-camera light as a trigger, I'm gonna use that as a fill. I just showed you this guy. Why are you know this. And you guys can all come in here. You don't gotta be creeps standing out there, it's okay. Jeez, all creeps all the time.
I enjoy being a creep.
I enjoy being a creep, is that what someone just said?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this again. I need those lights up. Let's take a look. And clean, right? Really clean light, really even. So filled in under her chin a little bit, got it right into those eye sockets. We have the catch light. I don't like how even these are across. So what I'm gonna do is, Dee, I want you to go down a little bit, like physically down, like down, not on the light, like that. Yeah. Stay with me. There we go. And you go up, 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 up. And come in a little bit. Dee, I need it up a little bit. I'm trying to see if I can see it. And because I like the recycling time, I can just bang away and keep getting whatever shots I want without having to wonder if they're going to recycle, because they're there for me. They recycled. They're consistent. Consistency is king when I'm constantly making changes for myself. Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice.
That's nice. Oh, look at, I didn't know you just got out of a limo. You can laugh, it's all right. I mean, this is really clean light. Yeah, it's blown out on our hair, but we're doing an ambiance. And the lens on that light is what's making that star really clean. All right? Can I end on a high note? Listen, thank you so much. What you saw was actually working on the fly with gear that I know and trust. Did things go wrong? Of course they go wrong. It's always gonna go wrong. But the one thing I don't need to go wrong is it not being there for me. Does everyone get that? When I changed that light, it changed where I needed to go. My sync, maybe a different story, but that's a camera issue, and I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun in Japan tomorrow with that issue. Does anyone have any questions? Does everyone get what happened? I mean, we just did a ton of stuff with just a bunch of A1s, right? We got our starlit look. I'll do this. We got our starlit look. We have our shutter drag. Oh my God, I'm just losing it all over the place.
Command click, man. Command click.
Oh my God, why is it happening? There we go. Okay, we got shutter drags. We got the store to come into, exposure over here. And we got her looking all goofy. We did some just straight up getting ourselves off the ground type looks. And this was all really fast with multiple lights in my bag, which is the power of speed lights in my opinion. But it's really up to you creative wise. But the one thing you shouldn't be inhibited by is the quality of the gear you're using. And that's why I chose the A1. And that's why I know when I pull out of my bag, I don't have to fight it. I know it'll work for me. Make sense for you guys? Yep. All right. Any questions in the chat? Thanks, homie, for the demo. Oh, thank you. Where are you going to buy a replacement camera in Japan? Actually, I think I'm going to take a whole different camera to Japan, actually. Yeah, that was scary. I don't know what's going on there, but I got to check that out. If you wanted to shutter drag someone falling, would you flag a window at the bottom to freeze them and light the space with ambient light? I'm not really sure what you're asking there. If you want to shutter drag someone falling, would you flag a window at the bottom to freeze? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you'd want to have, the big deal, I don't care where in the frame it is, your constant light needs to be separate. You guys can give me those lights, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You guys, yeah, I know. Well, some of these are Profotos, but majority of them are mine. Yeah, when you're doing any sort of drag, you just need your constant light separated from your instant light in some degree. And sometimes that's just a matter of where the placement of your model is or whatever you're doing in the frame is happening, right? Like if I had a position differently so that she was at a place where the strobe hits her, where the ambient is also, where the LED is also hitting her, we would run into issues. I'm trying to go through this chat and look at what we got. If you wanted shutter drag someone falling, oh, never mind. Did you ask that twice? Seth doesn't need luck. Oh, you guys are great. Snafu, yep, that was a snafu. All right. You're probably hyped about your trip. Yeah, what's up?
What about like, maybe it's a stupid question for you, but what about TTL? Like I've never heard about that expression.
TTL is through the lens, okay? TTL, through the lens. Actually, it's funny, I just did a video on this on my own channel. TTL, oh, thanks, man. That was a pretty good one, I thought. I think, not bad for on the fly. So TTL basically means this. When I'm gonna go take a picture of Casey, I hit the shutter. Before the photo's even taken, in the fastest milliseconds you could ever even think of, a pretty flash comes out from your flash. It's a quick, now it's a measured amount of light. So what your camera's doing is seeing that light reflect in, go, hey, here's how much light you need for the f-stop I'm at. It's always gonna change the power of the light depending on your settings after it sees the reflecting light. So if I'm at f8, it's gonna say, oh, you need like 7 on this light. It doesn't know what I'm shooting, it just knows what the light's coming back to me as. And it'll do that every time. So it's basically not having to worry about the measurement of the light or what my settings are at. In fact, one of the best ways to shoot TTL is in aperture priority. Change your aperture wherever you want. The light will adjust for your aperture, and then the ambient light around you will change with the shutter speed in your camera. Your camera's doing your shutter speed for you, your light is managing its own power, and you're judging your ISO and your aperture. So if I wanted a shallow portrait of Casey, if I shot it like f2, my light would go down in power to compensate for that. If I said, oh, wait, I want to get her ears in focus or more of the outfit in focus, I'd close my f-stop down to like 11, whatever, say, and then my light will start boosting in power, but my image will look the same exposure-wise, but I'll have the depth of field change because of the aperture. Make sense? Yeah, I mean, it was something that came out and people were like, whoa, and it's like giving a lot of, faith in your equipment to do what it wants to do. It doesn't know what you're shooting. It's a good way to get started. It's a good way to get a base exposure, and then you tweak it where you need it, okay? And the Profoto actually lets you do a Ttl exposure and then lock in the light where you got it. So instead of it constantly metering, you can manually adjust it by tenths of a stop, like little tiny bits. And I can't tell you, in my work with the special effects stuff, tenths of a stop are everything when it comes to a little wrinkle inside of like an old age makeup. I need 2/10 of a stop to get that shadow that much deeper. It's crazy, but in my line of work, there is no editing. It goes from my camera to a drive, right to the client, and that goes for here too. When I shoot a video, I don't edit it. I give them the shots, they do what they're gonna do with them, and that's it, Oh my God.
I actually have a question too.
Putting on another great demo. What's up? Yeah.
I got a question too.
Yeah.
How's the spread of light in a 1x3 softbox for Profoto?
How's the spread of light? It's really narrow. That's why I love this box. I shoot narrow. I believe my style, I like narrow multiple points. Some people might like a giant 5-foot octa, but to me, that limits the shaping of a model for me. There's only so much you can do in the light modifiers. I was gonna say, but it's huge. I know, right? I'm tired, man. It's been the longest week ever. There's only so much. With this, I can pull it far back, get a ton of shadow pulling out of her, making that light source small, but I can also get it pretty close and get a fast fall off and really sculpt her out. Now what I do with those shadows is my call, and that's why I like to light that way. I get my key shape, and then I really mess with my shadows how I want with multiple lights. And I think that's why I gravitated to speed lights so much, because I have like 50 of them and I do whatever I want,
But follow up.
Yep.
Is A1 good for like a 1x3 strip?
Oh, is it for a 1x3 strip? Oh, you mean like the two I always have in my bag? Yeah, it's great for a 1x3 strip, because technically, a 1x3 strip is this with another, it's like two of these put together. It's fantastic for a 1x3 strip. I really like how even it lights a strip light. Not a lot of speed lights, especially square-headed speed lights, or rectangle, I'm sorry, can fill a strip light efficiently. For whatever reason, there's a real hot spot in the dense middle. I really find that once you put the dome on these, it really illuminates a 1x3 strip really nicely. And that's huge if you're trying to do a really even rim. Because if it's hot here, especially on like blonde hair like Casey's, it's so reflective. Hair is reflective. It's like a nylon, it's a polyester. That's what they make wigs out of. It's plasticky and reflective if done at the right angle. So with the dome on, yeah, 1x3 strip light, super even, really into it. And you can see me do that in my Amsterdam video on Live View playlist on Adorama TV. Okay, guys, I'm dying on my feet. Are there any questions? Are you okay? You look like you're like just saw a ghost. You technically did. You technically did. You okay? Yeah. Okay.
Funny joke.
Funny joke. All right, guys. Anybody left in the chat? I don't know. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for Profoto for letting me borrow the A1Xs for tonight. I will be in Japan. I'll try to go live at some point from that. I think they're offering free overnight shipping with the A1, and there's a bundle with the Connect, which is a really small buttonless trigger. Like you put it on, put in auto, click, put in manual, and you're good to tweak it however you want. And it connects with the phone app, so you can control your lights through your phone, which are bananas. And that's it.
The A1 discounted price now is $795.
The A1 is $795. Why don't you tell me that before I started? They're all killing me in the chat.
A1 $795. It's still available.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to leave it in the line. And the A1X is $1,100.
Okay, so
And $1,195 with the Connect.
$795 for an A1.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. So now you can stop yelling at me in the comments. $795 for an A1, is pretty great, considering that if you got a flagship speed light with a battery pack, you're over that amount of money actually, because you're talking about a $500-600 speed light with a $200 battery pack. This is faster and rechargeable and less pieces and less stuff to mount for $795. Why'd you tell me it was $795 before I went live?
You know, what do you want?
What
from
are
me?
you doing?
What do you want from me?
Oh my God, there's what? Ah! Okay, it's $795 for the A1, but it's $1,100 for the A1X.
Correct.
And
A1X with the Connect
A1X with the Connect
is $1195.
$1195 with the Connect. You made that up?
I don't know. No, I think that's the right price. I think it is.
I am not responsible for anything I'm saying right now, but they're telling me that the A1 is $795 right now, and they're not discontinuing it, so that's pretty awesome, actually. Damn it, why didn't I? All right, but in my defense, I had these for like 8 months already, and I traveled around the world with them. So, oh man, way to go, way to go. $795 A1. Damn, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty dope. Listen, thank you guys for coming. I know this is like a really impromptu demo. They threw it at me in like 5 minutes. And thank you guys in the chat. Super supportive. And what did they cover extensively? I don't even want to know.
It is $1195 with the Connect.
$1195 with a Connect, and the Connect is like a $200 trigger, right?
$300.
It's a $300 trigger that you're getting for $95?
Exactly.
Oh. You could have started with that, because the first thing people want to attack me on is price on anything I use. So that would have been great. All right. Thank you guys so much in the chat. Thank you guys for coming. I'm going to get out of here. I got to pack a bag and get to Tokyo. Later. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Vanessa. I'm out. Bye. Bye, everybody. Ah!